Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. Mechanical Gods, written by Noradnea Toast. Final audio log of redacted, recovered human observation year 6056. My kind are spiritual. We recognize gods as facts. They guide our every waking moment, from when our souls are given bodies to the moment our souls fly free. They are our creators, and we are their subjects. There is no other way around to understand our world. Humans had their gods also. Some bore a resemblance to ours, some did not. We consider their kind primitive, and their gods more so. Yet they sparked our curiosity, so we made no contact and observe, as our faith dictated. Eventually, the humans left their birth world and took to the stars. They established colonies on planets we thought uninhabitable. The colonies lost contact with each other in some form of disaster. There was a discussion amongst my kind as to whether they would survive. I prayed to my gods that they would. They did, of course, or I would not have a story to tell. We observed, over time, striking divergencies amongst those human colonies cut off from each other. Many remained on the traditional path, worshipping the sky and the stars as they always had. Others turned inwards and worshipped the worlds that sustained them. We considered this strange, but did not interfere. Then we found worship that caused uproar amongst my kind, the worship of mechanical gods. One human colony eschewed tradition entirely. Their world suffered many disasters which eviscerated their numbers and threatened their existence. Despite this, they rebuilt. They forced the planet to kneel at their feet as they configured the skies and the seas to serve their needs. They were warlike too. Factions battled over resources, brutal wars at terrible cost, then coalesced under a single banner once the crisis was resolved. We watched in fear as these humans reached the stars once more. Eventually, they abandoned their crucible world for a civilization in the stars. Over time, their ships and their weapons became their gods. These humans worshipped only the shrine of their own creations. We considered interference and decreed their blasphemy. But our gods forbade us from such an act. We could do nothing but watch. We assumed the worst. We thought they would find other colonies, then destroy them in the name of their mechanical gods. Yet, to our surprise, they did not. They found another colony, of course, but there was little bloodshed. Those that worshipped their mechanical gods saw brethren, not enemies. Perhaps they had grown tired of war, but we thought such a thing impossible. We concluded that the discovered colony was deemed useless to the mechanical gods' cause. Despite this, the divine ships never left, and over time the two colonies assimilated. It was not long before other colonies were rediscovered, creating a further mixture of faiths. Humanity, for the first time in a millennia, became unified under one banner once more. Human gods are now unrecognizable from those of their birth world. The pantheon is vast. The humans worship the sea, the sky, and everything in between. Yet the influence of a single warlike colony was incredible. Their gods are traditional, yes, but each of them was given life and soul by humans. They and their gods are of equal power. And through these gods, the humans reshaped their reality as they saw fit. They took to the stars on a journey of discovery, then prospered unlike any species I had ever observed. Mechanical gods were only the beginning. Each human is now a god unto themselves. I have not told my brethren, but I plan to break the vow of silent observation. I wish to see what the humans would think of me. I wish to see what they can make of my kind's technology. My gods will not forgive me for such an act. Yet I am no longer sure of their power. Somewhere, amidst my millennia of observation, I found the strength to shape my own story by my own whims. Perhaps I, too, have been changed by their mechanical gods. Audio log retrieval note: the whereabouts of redacted are unknown. 2 rotations after this log was created, all human colonies became unobservable. We must assume that our position is compromised. Will the humans forgive us for not helping them sooner? End of story. Story number 2. Non-Human Constructions, written by Algae Father Anthracite. From the GLQ Construction Analysis Report, Sol 3, Humans. Excerpt from Chapter 1, an overview. Unlike many species of the Galactic Legal Quorum, human construction techniques differ from most of the member races in fairly significant ways. There are several reasons for this, ranging from geologic to atmospheric, and even in places based on natural resources and historic events. One of the strangest issues with human construction techniques is that there are different building codes that vary not only by region, but also by purpose. A human storage facility may require only minimal infrastructure in terms of utilities such as sewerage and electrical service, but require a much more dense and thick foundation to support heavy moving equipment and static loads of stored materials. Likewise, a dwelling unit requires a more robust integration of utilities, but not need a foundation that can support several thousand kilograms per square meter. Even the utility loadouts for dwellings is not standardized, as the regional environmental conditions and infrastructure negates any sort of commonality between buildings. For example, while those living in fairly temperate regions have no need for such things as air conditioning or heating, footnote 1. Those who live in places with more extreme temperature swings throughout the orbital cycle, footnote 2, may require one or both services in their dwellings. In some places on Earth, which are heavily populated, the temperature swing in a single solar orbit can vary 50.5 degrees centigrade and nearly 12 degrees centigrade in a single rotation. Environmental concerns do not stop with merely creating a comfortable living temperature for humans. Due to the geological instability of some regions of the planet, there are supplemental steps required to ensure safe construction. Earthquake straps are used in the construction of buildings to reinforce junction points to minimize collapsing during tectonic slip or shear events. It should be noted that humans consider such events mostly inconsequential, despite occasionally suffering massive damage and numerous deaths due to earthquakes. In other areas, buildings are constructed on stilts, long pylons driven into the ground, to raise the structure off of the ground. This is due to humans populating floodplains. The surrounding area frequently gets overloaded with water from rivers and can be submerged for days or weeks. Again, this is considered mostly inconsequential unless particularly severe. They also build on stilts near Arctic conditions to prevent the permafrost from melting beneath their homes, causing structural damage. Yes, they live in Arctic conditions as well. Homes on Earth are designed to deal with conditions including additional environmental issues such as hurricanes or typhoon, wildfire, desert or drought, and more. Additionally, buildings may be designed and built underground or even underwater, despite humans normally breathing gaseous atmosphere. While most species in the GLQ are not nearly as cavalier about environment that they dwell in, the construction methods used are fairly similar, mostly consisting of modular panel construction, although there are exceptions, like the tunnel-dwelling Zichki and the Kempili, who dig underground. Human construction, however, is something altogether different. Human buildings are mostly stick-built, although prefabricated buildings are not unheard of. A stick-built building is eerily biological in nature, although this is not immediately evident in the final product. First, a foundation of concrete, footnote 3, is poured. Once cured, a skeleton is built using timber and/or metal. A circulatory system of pipes is fitted to deliver and remove water and waste. Pulmonary ducts to deliver fresh air and temperature control are installed. Organ-like appliances are installed, including water heaters, valves and pumps, furnaces, and air conditioners. Finally, all the systems are tied together to an artificial nervous system which monitors air temp and automatically controls the environment inside the building. The whole dwelling is then given a subcutaneous layer of wood and plastic sheeting. The outside skin may consist of stone, brick, plaster, or wood, footnote 4. The inside is almost always wood, concrete, or gypsum board, footnote 3. considering the mimicry of biological construction as well as human tendency to anthropomorphize footnotes 5 so much. Homes tend to be fairly important to humans. This old superstition of naming homes, and even in some extreme cases, thankfully far back in history, of sacrificing a life to give a dwelling a spirit or a soul, is not completely unsurprising either. It should be noted that although the scale may change, even human megastructures are typically built in this fashion. From a single-family dwelling to massive skyscrapers of Earth, the vast majority are built this fashion. Footnote 1. See Chapter 12 of this report, HVAC, what necessitates it and how it is achieved. Footnote 2. CGLQ Environmental Analysis Report, Chapter 2, Orbital Tilt and the Effects on Weather. Footnote 3. See Chapter 3 of this report, Construction Materials and Their Physical Properties. Footnote 4. See Chapter 4 of this report, Architecture and Design Considerations. Footnote 5. See Chapter 32 of this report, Glossary. End of story. This is a special thank you to the one, the only, the legendary Eric Hino, who has become the only Tier 6 patron. I just want to thank the T5 patrons and channel members: Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Australia the Dreamer, Tryagain95, Fudic Yol, Meridian117, Elysia, Jordan Bucksbaum, Angry Marine, Albarden Guster, and Barkey. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.